hope you know how bad Polymarket's dashboard is, because we're trying to fix that in our project. Basically, if you go on Polymarket right now, let's just go on this one, and then you get a very nice overview, but a lot of information also missing. So you also get to see the top holders, you see comments, and you see activity, but this activity is basically useless. How people have traded in the past is not shown. What's the largest trades is also not shown. It's quite untransparent, basically. And we're trying to make it more transparent and more useful, so people can extract information from these. For example, who's going to be treasury secretary. This is probably relevant for a lot of people. And we try to make it more obvious that this tool of Polymarket can be used in a more specialized way with more knowledge. So, okay, so if you go on our Polymarket analytics dashboard, this is just I'm currently running it over my network, so you can see it. But basically, the idea would be you have your little dashboard here, and you get this brief overview of how you've been doing over the past year. Hopefully you're doing profit, but this would just be like the introduction dashboard. Our main tools would be these four. So currently you can just give in a Polymarket account address, and then we fetch the information for you. And then we just display it. And the idea is you get to see the past of a person. So here you see all the market position that this current user has. But ideally, we would also have things where, like, which market were you in? How did that market go? How is your profit and loss? How many transactions have you done? What was good? What was bad? And then also being able to maybe aggregate these people. So if you have afterwards a plot of transactions, more transactions, and here is profit and loss. So then I would expect that we could like bunch up and group certain users. So I would expect there would be like a bunch of people here near the loss, so slightly in the loss, but a lot of people with low transactions. Then I would expect there would be some people here in the profit, high profit, with a fuck ton of transactions, and then also a lot of people in the very low transaction region, but with very high volume. So maybe insider information, stuff like that. And it would be cool to be able to see those groups, identify them, and then possibly even be able to copy their trades or reach out to them, ask them if they're like experts, if they want to like give their information, where they're grabbing their information. And there's a lot of things you can do with it. And I'm quite excited to implement that. Then we also have the Polymarket analytics dashboard. Basically this year would just be all trades happening right now. So we pre-populated it with data from a year ago. It was quite dead a year ago. And then you can just sort by amount filled, users. There would be a lot of things that you could do with this. This is just very bare bone, but this is basically, we just made the subgraph. We used already existing subgraph, and we also made a substream using the graph. And the substream would be mostly for if you identify a target group that you want to copy, then a substream would be ideal, because a substream is a lot faster than a subgraph with the response time to trades happening live. So therefore you could react a lot faster than when you use a subgraph. So this would be ideal for that. And then currently we only have payout redemptions implemented. At the hackathon, there was a quite big drama in our group, because basically the ABI from Polymarket on their contract was wrong and we could not use it. So that was super frustrating. Yeah. So, well, that is basically our idea. We want to make Polymarket more transparent. And well, I also made some research on my own. So this might be interesting for all the US people out there. Let me go through this. Well, basically, so what I did was I took New York Times before the election, and then I also took Polymarket before the election and the entire span, and just I tried to compare them. I'm not yet finished with them. Hopefully I can post them on X or on LinkedIn or whatever when I'm finished with it, but I find it quite interesting. So this year is just, this is all Polymarket data for each swing state. So you see like Oklahoma or Oregon, kind of boring markets, but then you also see things like Pennsylvania, which were very close for the most of the time. If you look at the swing states, then obviously it's going to be even more interesting. And 538 released their own model. I'm still on the verge of comparing them. I still have some work to do there. But basically, I want to do a time series and then see if they correlate to each other. Is there some dependency between them? Yeah. Here, these are all swing states in one graph. So you see there's some correlation here in the middle. And then here at the end, towards the 2nd of November, you also see that there's a huge correction in the market. And I would like to know why these are the case. Currently, I just see it. I want to know why it's the case. And when you zoom in, it gets more clear. So here you have the 2nd of November, and then here right before the market ends and Trump got called, you see how all the markets spiked. So this is the New York Times. These are all states that they modeled. These are all the swing states. Here I put them next to each other. SVGs are pain, and that's why this is currently between 210 and 0. I'm still correcting that. It's a bit of a hassle to work with SVG because New York Times doesn't give out their model directly, so I had to scrape it. And there was some, doesn't matter. What's interesting about this here is you can see Polymarket already has a couple of winners for the swing states, while New York Times was still at like 50%. You see that Polymarket was already kind of decided already it was time for them, at least for these two. Yeah. Currently, I'm just trying to give you an idea of how interesting Polymarket can be and how this can be used in the future. Later, also all the swing states next to each other. Another interesting thing I did was basically for the Israel enters Lebanon before October market. So here you see this was right before the end. The blue line is the end of the market. So if Israel didn't enter Lebanon until then it's over. And this is just before then. And what I did was I looked at different news articles, and this is UTC, and I tried to compare them. And what I expected to happen was that when New York Times drops, they probably are like 20, 30 minutes already late, and the spike already happened because people have insider information or get their information elsewhere. But that's weirdly did not happen. I'm still suspect that this year is actually here, but currently this is how I think it is. Basically, this year was a Telegram message I found. So retroactively, it's easy to find information about the attack. And I went on Telegram, and basically 4 or 5 hours, or even maybe even a bit more, 6 hours before there was a message in the Telegram that that Hezbollah already fired on Israeli soldiers inside of Lebanon. So there, theoretically, you could already know. But of course, for the Polymarket to end, there is the UMA Oracle, and they only take certain sources. So would you want to react to that? Not sure. Yeah. I found it very interesting, and I would see a lot of future. Maybe you can add, like with SoundCloud, you could add events to the Polymarket, and people could be like, oh, this is this is stupid news and is not useful, or this is very useful information. And basically, you could also get a reputation for each newspaper, which currently is not very available. But this would be an amazing tool, and I would love to see that. And then you also see, oh, how does this news article influence Polymarket? And if it influences it a lot, then it's probably a reputable source. And if it doesn't, then it's probably quite useless. I would love to see that. And this is currently where I'm at. I'm still looking into this stuff. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy this. I think there's a lot of use cases. Also, Google uses it internally to predict deadlines and customer needs. And also, how much the customer needs of certain products. There's a lot of use cases, and I'm very optimistic about this. And I think Polymarket could be even better if you start applying these cool things. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little presentation. If you want, please reach out to me. I'm currently also looking for things to do next semester. Starting February, I'm looking for a more long-term project that I can work on. I'm currently in Zurich, and if anybody's interested in this kind of thing, please reach out. I'm thrilled to work with you, or to talk, or exchange ideas, brainstorm. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed this little talk. See you guys. Thank you so much.